The main fighting around Kosovo was the 7th to the 10th of May 1999, with the Serbian forces fighting and eventually taking a place called Shambrati Hill, which overlooks the town. Once they were up there and established, they could just shell the town and do what they want, and local people tried to resist them and keep them off the hill long enough to try and evacuate the town and get people over the border into Albania, which is about 6 or 7 miles away. And there's probably at least 150 odd people were killed in that fighting over that 3-day period. Possibly more, it's difficult to say really, nobody knows exactly.
I came around about 12 years ago. The country was still very much in the aftermath of the conflict in 98 and 99. We were working with Smile International, came across on a mission trip, and we primarily worked with the Roma and the poor people in society, and it was evident that they had a fairly bleak future. There were no jobs. If you're Roma, you're classed as a second-class citizen anyway, not treated particularly well by the authorities, and they basically had a subsistence existence rather than living. They were just surviving.
It was less than 5 years since the war. There was still a number of damaged buildings, there was still a lot of people in need, still a lot of people missing, some of whom had never been found, and we just tried to help in any way we could really to try and help these families, distributing aid, and just doing whatever we could to help them really, you know.
I thought that would be a really good idea to buy some thermal cookers, and so in 2016 I thought about it and did a pilot scheme and got Richard involved, and we bought out 6 cookers in November 2016 as a pilot, and they were very well received, and so we rolled over to this year in 2017 and brought 9 more cookers out. When I first met this woodcutter family, because they're known to me, it was about 7 years ago, and they were squatting in an outbuilding at a school until they were evicted, so they were in a pretty dire situation. We thought this time around it'd be nice to do a rice dish for a change, as they don't have a lot of rice in their normal kind of diet. They could if they wanted to, I guess, but it's down to money. So I thought just for a change it would be nice. And also it was a learning curve for me with the Mr. D cooker to see actually what these things could actually do.
Well, apart from the thermal cooking project, which is quite a new development the last couple of years, we've done various things to do with sort of aid distribution, bringing things over here to try and help improve the quality of people's lives, and also trying to encourage people by what we say when we speak, say in church or wherever we meet people, and trying to fund people's education to enable them to go to university, to give them a better chance of getting a job. Unemployment's quite high in Kosovo, and it is difficult to find work, but you know, we believe in trying to help people where we can.
About 12 years ago when I first came out with Smile International, Clive Doubleday, the CEO, realised that my background was as a horticulturalist and asked me if I would do some food preservation classes for the war widows. This trip we did some work with the State Economics School here with the agricultural students that are on a 3-year diploma. This floor with 90% weeds everywhere. What would be quicker, going on your hands and knees and doing it by hand, or using that? This time around we have worked with an organisation here called Handicross, which deals with physically handicapped adults and also, I guess, children. And we also went to a women's refuge in Peja, about 45 minutes away from Kosovo where we're based. And that was very well received as well, as these ladies, after a 2-year rehabilitation program, are then basically given safe accommodation and set up and, you know, build their own lives again. And we thought a thermal cooker would be a good way of helping them out.
Part of it, we obviously have to fund ourselves, our own expenses such as flights, accommodation, transport when we're here. The cost of the thermal cooking pots and the auxiliary equipment like knives, chopping boards, timers, etc. We try and do various fundraising events to try and get people to sponsor, basically. We've done sponsored walks, cycle rides. We're looking at doing one again next year, 2018. And also I'm probably going to end up having my head shaved at some stage to try and raise a bit of money that way. And any other ideas that anybody's got, if somebody comes along and says, we would like to do this, to try and help you raise some money, then we'll discuss it and see if it's a viable idea or not,
Some of the things we do, you cannot really put a value on it. If you have a war widow, for instance, that is at her wit's end and is struggling, and just to be there, maybe even just put an arm around someone, I don't know what monetary value you can put on that really, but it does mean something. It's a human thing.